Alright folks, it's friendly neighborhood old soldier coming at you again from Robbins County, North Carolina. We're going to talk about points 5 and 6 today. The Communist Manifesto for taking over the United States. And they basically consist of loaning money to the Soviet Union and other communist nations and providing financial aid to all nations regardless of communist affiliation. There's a big old check mark beside that. Okay? Big old check mark. Now, mind you, I don't have all the numbers of what aid was provided to the former Soviet Union. But I can tell you, we provided financial aid to China, believe it or not, to Cuba, indirectly to North Korea through China. And throughout history, several of your African nations that they claim to be democracies, but in reality they are totalitarian, dictatorial, tongue-tied this morning, dictatorial communist nations, okay? Especially during the Obama administration. The millions and millions of dollars that sunk into Zimbabwe. Or as in the movie Blood Diamond. Rhodesia. We say Zimbabwe now. He basically told her to, you know what, off. Don't blame him. But yeah, we have done that throughout the years. There was money that got funneled into Czechoslovakia, Hungary, East Germany, all those Warsaw Pact Soviet buffer nations that the former Soviet Union had as a buffer between us and them during the Cold War. And throughout it all, in some regards, people thought we were doing the right thing by providing humanitarian assistance. But I've talked about this in a previous video, all the way back to World War II, and this is also in the book, The Naked Communist. You need to go check it out. The Soviet Union was hoarding materials that we gave them to fight the war. In other words, war effort materials the Soviet Union hoarded because they knew they were going to have to rebuild their own infrastructure at the end of the war. They didn't want to pay for that. They knew we could produce it better than they could and faster. So they hoarded it. Several politicians enacted a commission and sent people over to ask, why are you not using this copper cable? Why aren't you using this cement? Why aren't you using this? Why aren't you using that? And then the Soviet Union, in typical communist fashion, would pout, sulk, stomp, complain, lie, cheat, until they got their way. Like a spoiled child. Much the way North Korea does when they don't get their way and they're at the negotiating table. Let that sink in. Doesn't that sound like a group of politicians in this nation? Democrats and rhinos? That ought to be some little stupid song. Democrats and rhinos holding hands under their unicorn flag, making America communist. Yeah, there's their theme song. The cold hard truth and reality is that it's part of the Soviet playbook, the old communist playbook, and we have funded it. Cut, dry, plain simple. And then it makes you wonder what you're paying taxes for. I mean, shoot, during the Obama administration, it came out that some of the money we sent to China was to study a freaking lobster on a treadmill. Another one to study why monkeys throw their poop. You see, that's why blanket foreign aid that gets passed every year needs to stop. But again, it falls into these communist points. Getting the U.S. to loan money, give financial aid and assistance to every nation, regardless of their political affiliations, their type of government. And in not doing so is unfair and immoral. Well, the American taxpayer is tired of paying for, why monkeys scratch their butt and sniff their finger, or why dolphins swim this way and whales swim another. Okay? Scientists want to know that stuff. Let them go raise their funds from the private sector for that crap. Unless it has a direct bearing and impact on things that affect how we live, we got to stop this mess, folks. Me and son, a bold soldier, pulling into our local dump to get rid of some garbage. So I'll be right back.
She's wearing a, cloth mask.
All right, we're back, folks, and like I said, these 2 points kind of tie into, if you go back at least the last 50 years, how we've been funding foreign aid across the nation, across the world. Okay? Spending money hand over fist to countries that go and squander it, waste it, okay? Use it for motives and all and things that we didn't send that aid for. Okay? We can go around the world and see where we've wasted our money. We can go around the world and see where we've spent our money and it's done reasonably well. Some would argue that the aid that we've given to South Korea needs to stop. Yeah, I could kind of see that one. As South Korea that is, for the longest time was a powerhouse in the Asian Pacific market, but there again we made a promise to keep South Korea free. That might be where that ties in. Technically, our involvement there is not ended because there was no treaty to end the conflict, only an armistice to end hostilities indefinitely. We know North Korea likes to rattle their saber from time to time. We even launch artillery rounds into South Korea. During the Obama administration, everybody thought we were going to go to war with Korea again. They bombed an island off of South Korea's coastline. But again, I'm on a tangent there. But we need to start itemizing our foreign aid spending. Think about the money that we would save if we cut out just 20% of foreign aid to the nations that squander it, waste it, do not use it for what it's supposed to be used for. Think about that for a minute, folks. A lot of the countries we give this money to don't like us, don't care for us, don't even want us doing anything within their borders. But you notice they always got their hand out and they're never hesitant to take American dollars. And again, ties into point 5 and 6 that I just mentioned. Folks, if you don't know what I'm talking about, get the book, The Naked Communist. Look up the 45 points of communist domination of the United States. Check them out. Arm yourself. But yeah, the foreign spending piece to these nations, it's got to start. It's got to stop. We've got to start holding politicians accountable when they blindly sign that foreign aid package every year. Because again, even the foreign aid, case example, during, the communist regime of Barack Obama, where we sent millions upon millions upon millions of dollars in cash on a pallet, several pallets, on the back of an airplane into Iran. Now, why the FBI never bothered to investigate that, I don't know. The Treasury Department. Why it wasn't pushed, I don't know. I can suspect and I can speculate. Because at the end of the day, Iran does not like the United States of America, and hasn't for quite several years. Okay? Ever since they overthrew the Shah and instituted a predominantly Islamic government ruling mainly by Sharia law, they don't like Western culture. And we, the United States of America, are the epitome of that Western culture. And they don't like us. The government. Let me be clear about the government. There is a movement within the younger generation to become more pro-Western once again. How so and how much, I don't know. But again, the people are repressed from speaking out. They suffer from reprisals from the government when they do, just like they do in China, just like they do in Cuba, Hong Kong. It's now, of course, no part of China, but they were pushing hard to become basically a free city outside underneath communist control. But yet, the money that we could send them doesn't get to them. You see, and again, when we send money to these foreign nations and it's earmarked for certain things, a lot of times it doesn't get used for that. Okay? For years we've sent aid to the Middle East, and many of those countries have used that money not to feed their people, but to arm themselves, or to use it to buy other things other than what it was earmarked for. And it follows that communist mandate, if you will, to hoard, in a sense. That's what I call it, when they stockpile goods and materials knowing they're going to need them for other things other than what they were originally intended for, I guess. I'm mixing my words up here. I'm trying to speak it a little clearly. What I'm getting at is that the materials that the money's earmarked to buy and purchase is not buying those materials. They're buying other materials for infrastructure improvement, knowing that some type of conflict is going to happen, and they don't want to pay to rebuild their own country. Let's put it that way. All right, folks. That's point 5 and 6. Tomorrow we'll cover 7. And we'll keep going through each one of these points till we finish them. If you've got anything you'd like to add to this, put it in the comments below. If you think I'm off the mark, put it in the comments below. If you think I'm off my rocker, put them in the comments below. I'm a big boy, I wear big boy pants. But this is the downfall of where our nation's headed if we don't stand up and fight back. Just letting you know, okay? I've already told you. I've got things that I'm preparing for the inevitable. I would encourage you to do the same. Till tomorrow, my friends, God bless, take care, stay safe. All right? Keep your eyes open, stay armed, stay vigilant, keep your head on a swivel. Anyhow, anyway, if it's for you, Brother Kyle, till tomorrow. Soul Soldier out.